Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess. On this edition, the Tohono O'odham Nation sues to stop the border wall.
It will separate our families, desecrate our sacred sites and waters.
A Tucson woman is recharged with an immigration crime.
The next day, federal officials refiled the same charges.
And we'll have the latest on local wildfires. That's ahead on this Wednesday, June 17th. Topping our news today, the Tohono O'odham Nation is challenging the Trump administration's efforts to erect a border wall on its reservation in southern Arizona. The nation filed suit to stop the Department of Homeland Security from awarding construction contracts, claiming a wall would diminish its 2.8 million-acre reservation. Here's Tohono O'odham Vice Chairwoman Carla Johnson.
The wall is a wasteful political gimmick. It will separate our families, desecrate our sacred sites and waters, and harm our natural environment, while doing nothing to actually make us safer.
The Department of Homeland Security has yet to respond to the tribe's suit. A network outage that affected 911 calls on Monday has been fully resolved, according to Governor Katie Hobbs' office. The outage affected geolocation services in several states and lasted for about an hour and a half in Arizona, ending just before 4 p.m. At that time, as many as 2,000 calls came in, based on the average call data. The governor's office says the cause is still being studied. The 911 system is now back in normal operation. The attorney for Tucson DACA recipient Carla Toledo says the federal government is once again trying to deport the 31-year-old woman. Angela Gervasi reports.
Immigration agents detained Carla Toledo last month, prompting widespread community backlash. Then she was released on bond, and on June 2nd, the federal government dropped its deportation case against her. The next day, on June 3rd, however, federal officials refiled the same charges against Toledo. That's according to her lawyer, Mo Goldman.
We're looking at it and trying to determine what our next step is from her legal defense.
Goldman and Toledo made the announcement this week that ICE had resumed its deportation efforts. Toledo is a recipient of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. The Obama-era initiative was designed to provide legal protections for people who arrived in the U.S. as children. But under the Trump administration, ICE has detained hundreds of DACA recipients, according to federal records. Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
West Nile virus is again spreading throughout the region. Pima County recorded its first case this week, and Maricopa County has just recorded its first fatality of the year. The disease is spread by mosquitoes, which multiply during the monsoon. Only about 20% of people infected show symptoms which resemble the flu, including fever, headache, and body aches. In rare cases, West Nile can cause severe symptoms, including paralysis or death. Public health officials recommend taking steps to prevent mosquito bites by wearing loose-fitting, light-colored garments and using repellent. Eliminating standing water around your home can also deprive mosquitoes of a place to breed. Officials from Pima County, the University of Arizona, and the Arizona Commerce Authority are developing ties with Taiwan following a recent trade and technology mission. Thatcher Warwick Hess has more.
A delegation from southern Arizona traveled to Kaohsiung City in southern Taiwan last month as part of an effort organized by the Arizona Commerce Authority to strengthen economic and technology partnerships, according to the City of Tucson spokesperson Andrew Squire. In March, Tucson Mayor Regina Romero and Pima County Vice Chair Matt Hines signed a memorandum of understanding with Kaohsiung City leaders. Earlier this month, officials from Kaohsiung and leaders from Tucson and Pima County also formalized the relationship with a sister cities agreement. The partnership has been 4 years in the making, with leaders in southern Arizona and Taiwan working to expand collaboration in semiconductor manufacturing, photonics, optics, and other high-tech industries. I'm Thatcher Warwick Hess, AZPM News.
The Table Mountain Fire, a wildfire burning in the Santa Catalina Mountains, has now reached 100 acres. The Coronado National Forest reports that firefighters made progress addressing hot spots and building containment lines on Tuesday night. There was no visible smoke or flames reported Wednesday morning. Thunderstorms may affect planned air operations and targeted water drops and potentially lead to erratic fire behavior. A fatal paraglider crash caused a fire in the Rincon Mountains Saturday, according to Saguaro National Park. Emergency responders recovered the body of the pilot in Box Canyon. The incident remains under investigation. The wildfire grew to 145 acres but was completely contained as of Tuesday. Officials with the park say temporary closures of trails and campgrounds have been lifted. A voter group pushing a ballot measure to rein in the state's private school voucher program is canceling its signature-gathering effort to back instead a measure that would protect vouchers. Cameron Sanchez reports from Phoenix.
Public education groups, including the Teachers Union, are pushing a voter referral which would put guardrails on the state's voucher program, like an income cap for families. Another group called Fortify AZ started their own effort to put a competing measure on the ballot, which would have had a much lesser impact on vouchers, but they've withdrawn. Republican state lawmakers recently added their own proposal to the ballot, which would negate the public education group's measure if both are passed. Fortify AZ is throwing its support behind the GOP plan to block the education group's attempt to limit vouchers. Cameron Sanchez, Phoenix.
Homeowners insurance in Arizona has risen more than 70% in the last 6 years, but it remains below the national average. That's according to the online insurance shopping tool LendingTree. An analyst there says the cause is twofold: more catastrophic natural disasters nationwide, combined with steady inflation that has made it more expensive to rebuild. In Arizona, the primary risk is wildfire. Though the state hasn't faced a significant disaster yet, the insurer's rate adjustments were likely based on recent events in California. Arizona homeowners pay an average of $2,200 a year for home insurance compared to the national average of just under $2,400. And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess. We'll be back tomorrow.